Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya khataman nabiyyin. Respected Muslim brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu wa maghfiratuhu. Respected Muslim brothers, respected viewers and listeners, I want to talk about an individual from the 18th century, 19th century of the Common Era named Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi and the significance of this individual. Now, this individual from Morocco had a very great impact on Islamic movements in the region of Africa and elsewhere, but predominantly in Africa. But many people in the Muslim community are unaware of him and his legacy. Is it a positive legacy or is it a negative legacy? This is what I want to explore. Now, this individual, Ahmad bin Idris al Fasi, is the eponymous founder of what is called the Idrisi Silsila. And we're going to see how his students and those that were directly and indirectly influenced by him started several different, apparently, or should I say, so called Sufi silsilas that are quite famous and quite active even till today. So, anyways, this individual was a self styled Sufi, and he did some traveling throughout the Muslim world. And basically, his contribution, or what he's known for, is that this was an individual that was against taqleed of the madhahib. As you know, we Sunni Muslims, we have four schools of jurisprudence, schools of fiqh, the Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. And so the people of Ahl Sunnah, they follow one of these four. Uh, they have to follow one of these four. And the largest of them is, of course, the Hanafi school, which I belong to, which I attempt to follow. And that is the one I believe is favored by Allah and blessed by Allah and is the most widespread in the Muslim Ummah. But that doesn't mean we negate the other three. The other three are also valid and orthodox and within Ahl Sunnah. And many of our great mashayikh, many of the great awliya Allah, they belong to the Hanbali or the Shafi'i school of jurisprudence. But so we respect them all. For instance, my namesake Sayyidi Abdul Qadir al Jilani rahmahullah was a Hanbali, but he is respected by all the Muslims. And the silsila that is attributed to him, the Qadiri silsila, is the most widespread and largest Sufi silsila in the world by the grace of Allah. Now, coming back to Ahmad bin Idris al Fasi, so he was somebody that was against taqleed, against following the madhahib with taqleed, and he was what you might call a ghair muqallid, and sort of somebody that is very quite similar to the fikr of Ash-Shawkani from Yemen. Ash-Shawkani was from Yemen. He was a Zaydi, born into a Zaydi background. Then he left the Zaydi madhab and basically started what is called the Salafi movement, the so-called Ahl al-Hadith. And his ideas spread to India. They were carried by people like Nawab Siddiq Hassan Khan of Bhopal, Al-Kanauji, and Nadir Hussain Dehlavi and others. So these ideas basically they come from Shawkani, and to some extent they come from Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi. Now Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, one of his students was Muhammad Uthman Mir Ghani, and he is the one that founded the Khatmiya Silsila, which is present in Sudan. Likewise, there was his one of his followers was Muhammad bin Ali as-Sanusi, the Sanusi silsila, the Sanusi order that is strong in Libya. In fact, Umar al-Mukhtar, may Allah have mercy on him, was a great Sunni warrior from Libya. He belonged to this Sanusi order, and he was the one who did the armed struggle against the fascist Italians in Libya. And he's very much respected by us Sunni Muslims. But he belonged to this Sanusi silsila, and this Sanusi silsila again influenced by Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi. Likewise, you had somebody called Muhammad Saleh, one of his, he was actually his nephew, the nephew of Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, to whom you have the Salihiyya. And the Salihiyya was a adopted by somebody in Somalia named Muhammad Abdullahi Hassan, and he was known as the Mad Mullah. That's what he was called by the British. He led an armed uprising against the British, and I think also against the Italians and the Ethiopians in Somalia. But he belonged to the Salihiyya. Now these salasil like Salihiyya and Sanusiya and the Khatmiya and others that are influenced by the Idrisiya, Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, they are somewhat reformist and quite close, to some extent at least, close to what is known as Salafism, Salafiyya, and even Wahhabism. And so the traditional Sunni have always been wary of these groups and Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, such that Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, he was opposed when he went to Arabia, he went to the Hijaz, Mecca and Medina. The ulama of that land, they actually opposed him and passed fatwa against him because of his reformist ideas. So I am somebody who respects the traditionalist camp, who belongs to the traditionalist camp. So I would also be skeptical of this individual, Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi, and the movements that were influenced by him. And these movements, by the way, we're talking about the Sanusiya and the Salihiyya and those that belong to Ahmad bin Idris al-Fasi. They're not traditional Sufi silsila because they don't have an unbroken chain that goes back to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unlike the traditional and orthodox Sufi silsilas, the four principal ones are Naqshbandi and Chishti and Qadri and Sohrawardi, but also the Shadili and the Rifa'i and the Kubrawi and some others. These silsilas, they all of them go back to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. There's a silsila that has each of their the guides has a teacher that goes all the way back to the Holy Prophet through Mawla Ali Karamullah Wajh al-Kareem, with the exception of the Naqshbandi, which goes through Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. That is the nature of these Sufi silsilas. However, these reformist Sufi groups, such as the Idrisiya and the ones influenced by them, they do not have a silsila, a valid silsila, which is another reason to be skeptical about them. Now, I'm not going to deny that they have some positive contribution to the Ummah, to Islam. By the way, there's another silsila called the Tijani silsila. The Tijani silsila from Ahmad at-Tijani, this also is a silsila that does not have a valid chain going back to the Prophet. Rather, the founder of this silsila, Ahmad Tijani, he claimed to have received a kashf of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, telling him that, don't go for any of the traditional silsilas, but start your own silsila, and they consider that silsila to be the best. I'll make a video, inshallah, about the Tijani, because they are controversial, but some Sunni ulama do recognize them as valid. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.